Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, we're going to be talking about the transit moon conjunct one's natal ascendant. Now, we're talking about the moon in transit. It can reflect our nurturing energy, the emotional needs, how we feel, and issues we may be sensitive to. Now, when you have this transit hitting the ascendant, there could be a lot of nurturing, emotional needs, maybe even emotional energy, issues with how you're feeling, sensitivity toward matters with the physical body. Say if this is if it's in Pisces, for example, it might be, or Sagittarius, it might be issues with weight. It could be, heaviness. Gemini, may not feel youthful enough. This is something too where and Virgo may simply not be flawless enough. And the thing about in terms of their appearance and physical body, and sometimes too, the ascendant is also about our outlook. And if you have your ascendant in Capricorn, it could be matters where you become emotional over it could be sensitivity to having a very negative outlook. Somebody might be even saying you have one. It could be being overly negative, pessimistic. Um, the emotional energy this time will be shown, often be shown on the surface. Now, this doesn't last for a very long period. You're talking about the moon moves very quickly, traverses very fast. You're talking about 3 degrees applying conjunction and 2 degrees separating conjunction to the ascendant. We're talking about a 5 degree transit total, may last around 10 hours on average, but it's still, you still might feel something during that time. It can happen very quickly, the effects of this, but remember the moon is still going to stay in the first house for a certain duration. On average, you're going to have, the moon's going to stay um, in your first house for might be around 2.5 days. So it's going to still be in that, and what's in the first house, there's still going to be issues of sensitivity regarding first house matters, but not as intensified as in contrast to the conjunction to the ascendant. Now, the ascendant also is about new beginnings. So this could be a time for you where you might feel, having a very strong, could be an emotional need or just feeling like having some kind of new beginning. If this is an Aquarius, it could be something with computers, electronics, innovation, astrology, aerospace, astronomy. And it may not last that long. It might be like a little, because the transit again does not really last that long. But it might be something where you might make, it could be a quick purchase, something associated with your ascendant sign. It might be something that you might want to start and you might finish quickly. If it's something with let's say for example, if this is in Gemini, it could be some kind of little, short story you might compose, and it might be something that doesn't really take that long. Also, too, the ascendant also is associated with one's early childhood. So when you have this transit at this time, sometimes this could be about sensitivity issues with people that were prominent in your early childhood. You might feel more like nurturing them at this time. Maybe it satisfies some emotional need to get to rekindle a connection with one. First house is also your first impression. Your ascendant is the first impression you make on others. So this is something where you feel more, it might be more sensitivity toward, and more emotional about, say if your first impression does not go off the way you want it. If you have, like, of course, say an Aquarius ascendant, if you come off and it's maybe a little bit too quirky or unorthodox or eccentric, it might not be something that you wanted. Maybe that energy to be seen as, it might be something where you might, maybe if somebody's critical about it, you might be hurt a little bit more at this time. Moon again is about sensitivity, and it's also, you're talking about the environment as well. with the ascendant. This is something too where you may be more sensitive to things connected with your environment. Say if you have your rising sign ascendant and a real sensitive sign, say like the zodiac sign Cancer, you might be really more sensitive to any criticism or ridicule, any derisive or derogatory remarks that may be thrown at you, figuratively speaking, at this time. Now, the moon in astrology is also it's associated as far as anatomically with the stomach, chest, and breast area. It can be at this time, though it may not last that long. There might be some issues with the stomach that you might be dealing with, or it could be some pain in the chest or breast area at this time. If it's in Taurus, as an example, it might be more stubborn and persistent. Now, if it's in Gemini, I would say it could be more mercurial, kind of comes and goes more. And also, the moon in astrology rules either the left or the right eye, depending on gender. And the ascendant, of course, is the physical body. So, some cases there might be some mild, issue, with one of the eyes at this time, whether it's some eye strain or something else. Another thing too is that this is something, looking at this, this is also about our emotions. It could be projected outwardly. The moon, of course, is associated with one's emotions. The ascendant is that energy we're projecting outwardly. It's outer demeanor. It's that energy that is very readily expressed. And if you have the transit moon making a conjunction to your natal ascendant, this could be a very strong outpouring of emotions at this time. And I mean, if it's in Gemini, it could be very excitable energy or high-strung energy at this time. This is a thing too, where when you look at it, if it's say, again going back to this transit also is where you might have, where you may be very flawless in your timing, but you might be also more, again, being very sensitive to the environment. Say if this transit is in Leo, it could be very loud, boisterous energy. If there's a lot of, loudness in your neighborhood, a lot of boisterous kids or something, making a lot of racket, this could be a time where you might be more sensitive to it, because again, the moon is about sensitivity. The ascendant corresponds with one's environment. Now, the moon is also associated with the past and memories, and the ascendant is about the new beginnings. This could be a time too where your past or some memories connected with the past may impact a new beginning at this time or outlook. This could be, this could be a situation where, you can have, say if you have this, if you have this in Gemini, it could be some, something you did maybe with writing or, something with cars, dexterity. It might be something that you might draw on to maybe start something new at this time, and it might be a new beginning associated with one of those things I described, say if it is in Gemini. Now, also too, the moon is associated with the public. It could be public recognition, and this is a time where you may have certain public recognition connected with your appearance. It could just be something very simple, like putting a photo on social media, and maybe you get more attention than you're accustomed to for it. Maybe there's something about the photo that brings a lot more people out. It could also be at this time too, when you're looking at this transit, it can be more difficult to suppress your emotions and feelings. They may be more and more on the sleeve at this time. Even if you're somebody, say if you have this in impassive Taurus or Capricorn, very stoic energy, it still may be hard to hold back. If something is bothering you at this time, it may very strongly reflect on your on your face at this time. It's going to be more difficult to hide something that might have upset you or irritated you or what have you. This is also a time too where the moon is associated with the home and family, So this is a family life. So this could be a time where your home and your family life might be more significant on a first impression than usual. Hold on a moment, people. Anyway, sorry, a stretch there. What I want to continue with this is now, this is also a time too where we're talking about really the first house. I see it also can correspond with courage, because the first house in astrology corresponds with the zodiac sign Aries, being the first sign of the zodiac. First house correlates with Aries. So this could be more, it could be subconscious emotional need, maybe to express some kind of fortitude and courage, and especially if you haven't expressed in some time, maybe you have it in a sign that's more courageous, like Leo or Aries or Scorpio, that energy could really come out very strongly at this time. Leo, of course, in a very vociferous and loud manner, as an example. Now, say if you have that transit in Gemini, it could be speaking out, maybe using a pseudonym, like another alias, like another identity on an issue. Maybe you might be outspoken about something, but it could be by using a different name, but I'm just citing that as an example. Now, another thing too, when you have this transit, okay, when you're talking about, again, the transit, it's I see it as 5 degrees. Everybody's going to use, different orbs, but using a 3-degree applying conjunction aspect and a 2-degree separating conjunction aspect, it's 5 degrees total. When it makes the applying conjunction aspect, of course, it's in the 12th house. When it makes the separate aspect, it's going to be in the first house. And when it transitions from the 12th to the first, I see this in some cases. It could be somebody, a moon related, might be coming out of hiding. If they had not been, if you haven't seen from them and they've kind of dissipated, it's in there, they wanted some alone time. When it transitions into, the first house, this transit, the thing about it is it could be a time where you might reconnect with them. It could be a home or a family member. Maybe it was someone from your past. It could be a prominent woman in your life scheme. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.